Welcome, everybody. We're about to get started. There's a lot of socializing left to be done, but it's going to have to hold off till a little later. My name is Skip Page. I'm a class of 1984, and I'm pleased to introduce our speaker tonight, right over here, LeRoy Malouf, who's going to be speaking to us. LeRoy is a wellness and vitality practitioner, an instructor enabling clients to make significant breakthroughs in sustainable improvements in their lives. He happens to be living locally Cape Cod area, so he was able to get here to help us today. He's also the author of Knowing and Living Your Purpose and the developer of Energetic Well-Being Process and Positive Power of Being Neutral Modalities. LeRoy is the founder and chairman of LMA Incorporated, which owns leadership, influence, and organization development companies, serving Fortune 500 clients, and he has licenses in 20 countries. He's been a consultant, entrepreneur, and personal life and business coach and instructor since 1961. LeRoy was born and raised in West Texas. He earned a BS in mechanical engineering here at MIT, and then he got his MS from Sloan also. Please join me in welcoming LeRoy.
Thank you. Welcome. Well, I live on Cape Cod with my wife, Tony. She raises sheep and llamas and goats and alpacas and cats and dogs and birds and me. In that order. We actually met 61 years ago, last October 3rd, at 5:30 p.m. But who's counting? We had a blind date for a formal dance that night. And we got married at the end of our junior year. She's Wellesley graduate. Tonight we're going to go pick up on her reunion. And so we were married our last year in college. And I, as it said, I'm originally from West Texas. I immigrated to a foreign land called Cambridge, Mass. I met many aliens. And when I got here, the dark winters compared to West Texas, they were mind-blowing. And I was struggling with school. And I badly injured my knee. I couldn't walk at times. And I was depressed. And I thought that was reality. And then I had this amazing spiritual experience. It was like being dumped into the Amazon River. And that river was incredible power and perception. I could see molecules shimmering in the air, and joy, and love. I said, wow, I had reality and unreality reversed. I want to live my life this way. Well, I had so much stuff on myself to work on. I've been to literally hundreds of self-development experiences and learned many modalities. And I've been helping people as part of my avocation, if you will. And then we have 3 offspring who own and run the company I started. So in 2000, I resigned. I'm chairman, which means nothing. And they're all pretty headstrong. They take after their mother. And my avocation became my vocation. And well, you've heard about all that. So our purpose for this session is to learn about mindfulness. What's meant by mindfulness, how it relates to us as individuals, how it relates to evolution, how and why it works to help us be more fit in all ways. Okay, I just turned 82. I believe it's very important for all of us to be more fit in all ways as we get older. Now, why is that? I remember back in science class in high school, wonderful high school in Lubbock, Texas. And in science class it said, our human bodies peak at age 20, okay? And then they degenerate by 10% every decade. So, here, well, when we were much younger, about 3 years ago, we were only 78, and we went to a new primary care physician. And so, the average age of death of men, I think, has gotten up to 78 now, or 18 months after they retire, whichever comes first. And I think the average age of death of women is now 81. So what was the new primary care physician expecting to see when we walked in? Right? All right, so we're in an examining room, right? And he and his nurse come in. They've got our medical records and a blank page on top. And they say, the first thing we want to do is see how many meds you're on. Well, we kind of looked at each other and smiled, and we said, well, we're not on any meds. We haven't been. We don't plan to be. No meds? No meds. And he said, well, let me look at your blood work. He said, you got your cholesterol down from 215 to 185. That's good. How'd you do that? This is a guy I'd never met before, right? So what's he saying? How did you do that without statins? And I said, well, I work on myself. And he said, well, I'm starting to get this symptom, and he kind of stopped himself. And I said, well, I can help you with that. Right? Well, he didn't take me up on it. But the reason I'm telling you this, and I'm probably going to tell you some things 2 or 3 times. I'm getting a little ahead of my presentation. The reason I'm telling you this, there's a quote that's one of my favorites. And it is that the deadliest self-fulfilling prophecy in our culture is that we degenerate as we age. The deadliest. Now, we're reminded in all kinds of ways that we're going to degenerate. I was in a Home Depot, and I asked a question. Guy said, well, I don't have an answer, but I'll find someone who does. So he walked off about 50 feet, found someone. He said, it's for that old guy over there. Well, you know what I did? I turned around to see who he's talking about. So we get all these reminders about how we're going to degenerate. All right? So, mindfulness. We aren't very mindful of the kind of effect this has on us. So what does mindfulness mean? When all else fails, go to the dictionary. Right? The practice of maintaining a non-judgmental state of heightened or complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences on a moment-to-moment basis. Some selected synonyms: awareness, cognizance, knowledge, notice, observation, and related words: discernment, perception, recognition, understanding. There's one I use as well too, called neutral. Very powerful place to be, coming from a place of not reacting. Okay, mindfulness. Now, let's talk about how mindfulness helps in business. I'm going back to my longest career, which was an OD consultant, applied behavioral scientist, whatever that means. We had a company, large company, that said, the head of software services said, we want to know what our software specialists do that help make sales. Well, what did everybody say about that? They don't help make the sale. You can't measure that, right? It's the salesman who makes the sales. Well, we actually, they wanted to do it so that they could use it to help select and develop good software specialists, right? Well, we actually defined what they did in 6 countries. And in the United States, with a Venn diagram, we figured at 3 different levels, what do they do that helps make sales? very statistically significant. So, and it's used for selection, coaching, training specialists. Mindfulness. Everybody says you can't do that, right? Well, let's get a little more mindful about that. Let's try another one. This was an executive team of a large government contractor, and we were focusing on helping them be more effective. They kept expressing concern about the future. I didn't know what to tell them about their future. So I said, well, who in this organization has a proven track record, right, of predicting the future? Say, oh, well, there's Joe over here, and there's Mary over there, and they kept going like this, right? You asked some different people. So we interviewed those people, a very biased sample, about the future, and then we recommended that they use them as an ongoing sounding board. First of all, who's got the mindfulness about who we are, what we are, where we're going? That's who we identified. And then you can begin to get some decent information for what they wanted to know. Let's take another example. Executive senior managers and executives. We had a number of clients, both in Fortune 500 companies and in the government, and we said, we want to know who is really good, both at getting results, who's excellent at getting results and developing people at the same time. And through that, we identified what do they do that enables them to do that, basically getting to the competencies. Okay. So you can look back through time. That's what we learned at Sloan, all the different ways that mindfulness helped bring about improvements in various ways. And of course, this one we hear all the time, how mindfulness in the electronic field has been very powerful over the years. And let's even talk about remedies. Before there was a medical practice, people were finding herbs in the wood, that kind of thing. Well, that's gotten organized, right? Medical diagnosis has evolved from kind of just sensing and intuitive, which is very, very powerful, but to numerous sophisticated tests, measures, databases, remote diagnosis, and numerous medical procedures have gone from not being possible to being relatively safe and easy, enabling seriously ill patients to regain health and normal living. With a lot of really great kind of things that can be done now. Well, what's the difference? What I do is in the alternative field. Well, what's the difference between these two? It's really interesting to distinguish these. To kind of say, well, what's the difference? Well, the doctor and the test know best. From my viewpoint, the patient, their body, and their energy know best. In the medical field, 95% of the root causes for what's going on with us physically are physical root causes. In this work, 95% are non-physical. Embraces sickness first and embraces wellness first. Eliminates or covers over or buries symptoms. We want to eliminate the root causes. Drugs and surgery, natural means, potential huge side effects. Mistakes cause up to 500,000 deaths a year. Minimal side effects, minimal risk of death or other side effects. In this work, I have two rigid rules. First one is you can't do it wrong. Because the worst thing that can happen is nothing happens. And the second one is, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it. Yes?
Yeah, I'm just curious, when you say non-physical, do you mean mental or do you mean something else?
I'm glad you asked that question. Whoops, wrong button. Oh, one other side effect side trip before I get there. Just as kind of point of interest, traditional medical visits went from 380 million per year in 1990 to 365. Alternative visits went from 410 to 615. alternative revenues have been going way up. I'm grateful for that. Now, the effect of, this is what I call a revolutionary energy work. And it's surprising how simple these various modalities like this are and how quickly they work in the same ways that are characteristic of how we've evolved programs, drugs, phones very quickly. There's been an evolution here too. They're focused on finding and clearing root causes and on wellness. Now, what do I mean by working fast? Well, one client came and she said, I was in a car accident 25 years ago. I got whiplash, and I've had neck pain ever since. It gets better, it gets worse, never goes away. And I said to her, it feels to me like there are about 7 things in your life that are a big pain in the neck. And she said, oh yeah, well there's this about money, and there's this about my spouse, and this about my job. We worked on her about 40 minutes, her pain went completely away. You see, one really great thing about our symptoms, by the way, I just published my first book. It's called Knowing and Living Your Purpose. And in it, as I was writing it last year, I said, my goodness, our symptoms have intelligence. They're saying, hey, work there. Well, she had pain in her neck. Well, what in her life is a big pain in the neck? Gone. Okay, another example. About 12 years ago, this little baby, happens to be one of our grandsons, would only eat milk products, right? And then he started breaking out in a painful rash. And it was driving our daughter crazy because she couldn't get him to eat anything. Well, what's she being told? Anybody got an idea? Lactose intolerance. And how long is the boy going to have it? Probably forever, right? So I said to her, do you mind if I work with him? And she says, it can't hurt. Right? She's exhausted. So I work with him about 20 minutes. I say, could you give him some milk and some cheese? And she looked at me like I was absolutely crazy, like, what? And so she did. And he hadn't had a painful rash ever since. Worked with him about 20 minutes. Now, you know, what in the world was causing it? What's the root cause? Well, it turned out her husband and her had been having some serious difficulties, some negative emotions. The baby picked them up and reacted. So I just cleared that away, and he's fine. And in fact, I strengthened him to thrive on milk products, and he has ever since. Okay, lady with intense gallbladder pain. She's scheduled for surgery. She'd had these bouts over a long period of time. She came to see me. We worked 3 times, and pain gone, canceled the surgery. She's got her gallbladder, and she's doing very well. Okay, another example. Lady with a fast-growing breast tumor. 5 sessions, tumor gone. In fact, in the 3rd session, it shrank by half in about a second. All right. Another example. Wife died suddenly. Husband at age 55. She cried for 5 years. Her doctor said, go see this guy. And I worked with her, and she began to do workshops. And at one of the workshops, a guy who was helping said to her, is your husband still alive? She said, no, he's dead. Why'd you ask that? He said, why are you still acting like she's alive? Hit her like a wet noodle across the face. Right? She realized she had a mistaken identity. She'd been living her husband's life. not her own. She's doing beautifully. In fact, actually now she's helping people in another modality. Okay, finally one more. I'm giving you these examples because we want to see concrete results when somebody talks about something. And this one, multiple symptoms, pain, unrelenting, debilitating migraines 3 to 4 times per week for 45 years, meds, ER visits. Her doctor said, go see this guy, 7 sessions, never had a migraine since. It's been several years ago. All right, so what's going on here? We're not very mindful of our own energy levels. My favorite example of this is that 5-year-olds laugh an average of 200, 300, 400, 500 times a day. The average adult laughs about 5 to 15 times a day. And on a bad day, we have trouble finding one. Now, these 5-year-olds, they're going strong to 90% of their life, which is mostly fun, play, curiosity, and laughing. As adults, we're going strong to about 20% of our life. In other words, our energy goes weak to 80% of our thoughts, feelings, experiences, memories, reactions, and dramas. Anytime we're irritated, upset, frustrated, angry, impatient, judging ourselves and others. Of course, nobody in here does any of these things, but I had to have some examples. Feeling down, discouraged, reacting, struggling, our energy goes weak. And any one of them is small, but when you accumulate them over days, weeks, months, a lifetime, we get energy blocks, and we say, ouch. And the ouch can be physical, mental, emotional, psychological, psychic, spiritual. We say, ouch. Okay, we move from this strong base, which is health, wellness, vitality, unconditional love and acceptance, joy, peace, resilience, fun, being our true selves, infinite, boundless, one with all things, living and creating with ease. We shift from that to going strong only to 20% of our life. So this is our weak base of living these days. Now, if you take an example, just take the middle one. Talking about this group right now. Overguarding, overprotecting, overworrying, over fearful, over anxious, over analyzing, over internalizing. Does anyone resonate with any of those? Does anyone resonate with them but isn't willing to admit it? I have a friend. This protective state that it's so easy for us to get into. By the way, the lady I mentioned with the tumor that shrank by half, after the second session, I kept saying to myself, why hasn't it gotten smaller? We stopped it from growing in 2 sessions. So I went to the dictionary again and looked up breast. I wanted to stay abreast of things. And of course, it says mammary gland. But she's embarrassed. Of course, it says mammary gland, but it also says mothering and nurturing. Now, this lady I was working with had a son who'd been in a lot of serious trouble. I thought, oh my God, over-mothering, over-nurturing, over-worrying. In the 3rd session, when I said, let's clear that, the lump shrank by half in a half second, right? Talk about root causes. See, the root causes for our symptoms are basically life issues. We don't really have health issues. What we have are life issues. And, you know, we say don't assume anything, but I found like clockwork, several hundred clients, that when we get stuck into the over-mothering, over-nurturing, over-guarding, over-protecting, that it reduces energy to our breasts and genitals, male and female. There's a direct link between these life issues and what happens to our body. And then, of course, we do these other things. We get into increasing levels of disease, symptoms, aging, degeneration. In a way, we forget who we really are, and we get stuck in our stuff. So here's what's happening. We very quickly go from being strong to 90% of our lives down to 20. And, you know, this part we don't have very much mindfulness about. We know something's going on. Gee, I seem to be in a down period, or I seem to be upset these days. I'm a little anxious. And so we get some help, and we rock along. Question is when are we going to make that a sustained upward path?
May I interrupt to ask, when you say strong, what are the dimensions of that you're...
Okay, yep, that's good. I mentioned this one before. Oh, wait, one more thing before I get to your question. Biggest paradox about us human beings is we don't support what we say we want. We don't let go of what we say we don't want. I've lost hundreds of pounds. I mentioned this one before. And by the way, what would you do if anything, any process, relationship, tool, appliance, vehicle, company, had some part of it only function at 20%?
Replace it.
You'd what?
Fix it or replace it.
You'd fix it or replace it. And yet here's where we are. Okay, so to your question. One of the ways we do this is muscle testing, kinesiology, been used extensively, largely debunked by traditional practitioners and their professional organizations. Oh, it's like when the AMA started, there were these Rife machines that doctors were using, and they said, well, you can keep using them if you want to do it from your jail cell. So we're limited in what they can do. It has actually been extensively researched and validated. And mindfulness is a key ingredient in getting some accuracy. So here's what I want you to do. Get a pair partner, just someone next to you, stand up with that person, and I'll show you what to do once you do that. And can you come up and work with me? Okay, come over here. Okay, turn that way, please.
Okay.
All right, everybody got a partner? Then stand behind that person, kind of like this. All right, and the person behind, put a hand on either shoulder for balance, right? Person in front, just move your arm out about 6 inches. Put some energy in it. This is not a brute strength thing. And the person in back, just put a couple fingers on the wrist. So put some energy in your arm, just in your arm. Yeah. Yeah, put some energy in this arm and let me do this. Okay. So, no, you're too rigid. Okay, just relax a minute. Now just put some energy in. There you go. Okay, so pretend like you're doing the pulse, right? Give a gentle pressure. Everybody done that? Gentle pressure. All right, now person in front, turn your toes in. Toes in. Right? And check energy again. And see what you get, strong or weak. Okay, turn the toes out. Just the person in front. And apply pressure, and notice it goes weak. Everybody notice that? Now let me explain for a minute. Stay right there. Let me explain for a minute. Toes in is a strong energy position for us human beings, and toes out is weak just because the way our bodies are constructed and the way our energies move. Right? So if you are strong this way, weak this way, it basically says that your polarity is straight. It's like saying your compass reads north-south. If it is either weak this way or strong that way, it's reversed. It's like saying your polarity, your compass is reading south-north. Okay? You can't feel it? Okay, that's all right. Let's check again. All right, let's go toes in again. Okay. And again, gentle pressure, and notice how strong. Everybody feel that strong? Okay. Now toes out again, and check again, and check, and it goes weak. And if the person is doing this, that means it's weak. Okay. Okay? Yes. If it's in, it's stronger, yes. All right, now wait a minute. Let me just check a minute. Let's do it a different way. Person in front, toes straight. And person in front, say your real name 5 times out loud.
Now.
Now check the energy. See how strong that is? That's your truth. When it's your truth, your energy is strong. Now, I'm going to push really hard. Don't do this at home. It should only be done by a trained professional. Now, don't you say your real name? Okay, I'm going to push hard now. It's out there like a limb. All right, now I want you to say, my name is Mary.
LeRoy, Mary.
You got it? Okay, see my little finger?
Mary.
Come on, give me some strength in your arm.
Mary.
We're talking about our truth, not our truth. Strong, weak. Everybody got it? Okay. Now, one of the things, when I say strong, weak too, well, wait a minute, let me come back to that. Put your toes out, right, and resist. And it's weak. Now, take your right hand and pretend you got a strong, you've got a zipper jacket, and just zip it up. Okay? And now let's check again. That's strong. Now, when you check your midline, see, this is another thing we're not very mindful about. Just being strong every day. Chapter 13 here says we can start this upward path by being strong, and here's how to do it every day. That's what I do every day. Now, one day, by the way, I drove about 30 minutes to give a workshop. I had checked myself. I walked in, said, something's odd about this room. It was me, my polarity reversed. I have no idea why. Now, let me show you what we do. I want everybody to do this. What we do to get polarity straight, all right? Circles are a strong symbol for us human beings. Everybody makes circles. Or you can do 2, right? All right, we're conducting the band. Okay, infinity signs is another strong symbol for us, right? Okay, then we tap, we got to reboot the computer, so we tap in a circle. Tap in a circle, and then tap your chest and go ha 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 ha. Now, check the energy now, see what it feels like. absolutely strong, right? All right, person in front. Person in front, think of a time when you were in pain, depressed, upset, irritated, and tell the person in back when you got it. Okay? Just think of a time when you've been irritated, upset, in pain, and then tell the person, and then check the energy when they tell you they got it. You got it? Got it? All right, see how weak it goes? All right, person in front, zip up. Check it again, and it goes strong. Okay? All right, person in front. Think of a time when you were happy, productive, feeling great. Tell the person when you got it. And check the energy. All right, switch roles. Everybody switch roles. Here we go. Okay. Again, a hand on the shoulder just for balance. Two fingers on the wrist, just two, like you're going to do the check the pulse. Toes in, person in front. Check the energy. Okay. Toes out. Check it again. All right. Zip up. And see how strong it gets. Okay, person in front, toes straight. Think of time you've been irritated, frustrated, in pain, depressed. Tell them when you got it. Got it. Notice even if you try, you can't hold it up. Zip up. Check it again, and it's strong again. Okay. Person in front, say my name is something that it's not, Mary or Jack or whatever. Say something that it's not. My name is Jack. Zip up. And then say your real name 5 times. LeRoy, 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 LeRoy. Okay. Have a seat, please. Okay. You stay here. Stay here a minute. Just one more time. If you do not do anything, okay, from this session, other than getting your energy strong every day, it'll help get you on this upward trend in terms of the percent of your life you're going strong to. Okay? If you don't remember your name. Yeah. Oh, it helps with that too. Now, we're going to do one other thing. We need to be at 100% every day. I'm going to check this group using him as a surrogate. Okay? I'm going to see what percent on a scale of 100, put your toes straight, please, is the central core energy of this group. 0, 10, 20, 30, 35, 40. It's about 40 average.
Can we do that again?
Okay. Huh?
What if you did that on another person?
Come here. Okay, another person. Do we want to measure your central core? Or are we going to use you for a surrogate?
Whichever you think would be more educational.
Okay, let's
for your-
use yours.
All right.
Okay, here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45.
Excellent.
Excellent. Wait, don't go away. Come over here, please. We're going to do this in stereo. Okay, here's what I want everybody to do. First of all, just briefly touch the top of your head to locate it in space. Then the very base of your spine. Okay, you can let go now, but focus on a strong central core, full of energy and strength right up and down your midline. Joy, love. Focus on your midline. Okay, I'm going to check you now. 45, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. You're up to 90. We're going to check you for the group. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. Okay, you and the whole group are at 90 now. Let's see. I'm going to check to see where there's some weakness in the group. Here we go. I know. Let me do it. Give me some energy. Right at belly button level. Right at the base of the spine. Everybody lift up and down the base of your spine. I'll give you just 30 minutes to stop this. Okay. And belly button. Belly button. Let me see something. Belly button. Okay. When we look at the digestive system, hold on just one more minute. Oh, wait, let's see where we got on our central core. 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. We're going to boost that to your 100% positive infinity. Thank you. Okay, for the group. For the group. Belly button. Digestive issues. How many people in the room have, what percent of the group has digestive issues? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay. When people have anything going on with their digestive system, what I look at is starting with the mouth, mastication. And if there's something going on with the mouth, it's like, what can you not get your teeth into? Life issue. Right? If it's around swallowing, what is it in your life you don't want to swallow anymore? Oh, that fits for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 people in the group. Digestive issues, what is it you can't stomach anymore? You're just not going to what in your life are you not going to stomach anymore? You're just not going to digest. Okay, we get assimilation in the small intestine. What is it in your life can you not assimilate or don't want to assimilate anymore? That fits at least 10 people in the group. And then large intestine, what is it you're having trouble eliminating? Okay, that fits about 10 people in the group. Let's take all those life issues for the group. Let's just clear them all away. Shazam. Okay, focus on the midline. By the way, anytime we're saying let's clear something, if it applies to you, you just say apply. Me too. Right? All right, so check the group now, 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 100. We think that we're always going to come down, so let's just boost that to our 100% positive infinity and beyond. Thank you very much. Let's give our people a hand here. Thank you. Questions so far? Yes.
Is there anything in health that you think does not work this way?
I didn't understand the question. Is there anything?
Is there anything in a person's health that you think doesn't work this way? Are there genetic causes?
Oh, there's genetic causes too as well. Oh yeah. In fact, okay. One of the things that I and other people have done is to kind of start looking at patterns of root causes. And for example, my father used to tell everybody exactly what to do, no matter how skilled they were, right? By the way, where did you live? Now, it's really interesting because if you look at the research on entrepreneurial behavior, achievement motivation, that's in one of my prior lives, that's what I worked on, training entrepreneurs, training people to be entrepreneurial. We had wonderful research studies showing you can train people to be more entrepreneurial. But one of the motives for entrepreneurs is wanting to please their father. Wow. Right? Now, so my dad used to tell everybody exactly what to do. And I said, nobody should treat anyone that way. Right? Very righteous. First management job I got, guess what I was doing? Doing the same thing. So we take on stuff from our parents, who take on stuff from their parents, who take on stuff from their parents, up to many generations. That's one of the things we clear away. By the way, my dad also had this wonderful sense of humor. There was a skilled carpenter who was working for him. He was telling this skilled carpenter exactly how to do everything, right? Skilled carpenter got so frustrated, he said, "Malouf, I can do anything you can." My dad says, "You want to bet?" He said, "Sure, put $10 on the table." So he did. He took out his false teeth, put them back in, collected the $20. So, okay, we're talking about, first of all, again, consciously, every morning, getting your energy strong. We want to be on that upward line. Now, it's the truth that sets us free. This works based on this premise, that we really don't have health issues, and that the more we focus on health issues, we have more health issues to deal with. That lady in the automobile accident, she was believing an untruth, and it was that the whiplash caused her headache. As long as we are believing something that is not true, we are propagating our symptom. As soon as we found her truth, it goes away. Okay, there's another way of looking at these patterns that we get. For example, left, often if there's a pattern of weakness on the left side or symptoms, it's about being left out, left alone, left out in left field, left with the responsibility. Right is about being right or wrong. Hands, often when there's weak energy in the hands, it's around things in your life you're not handling well enough. Breast, I already mentioned that, over-mothering, over-nurturing. And so what and how does this work? First of all, we focus on the whole person. We get mindful about the whole person, if you will. And we build energetic support for the desired state, remove for holding on to symptoms, strengthen, align, focus, free up, expand, unlock our energies, regenerate, rejuvenate, return to our natural state of wellness, vitality, etc. Remove energetic blocks so they leave quickly. You know, I told you I badly injured my knee in college. I had the meniscus taken out, been bone on bone since then. What's supposed to happen?
Terrible pain.
Terrible pain, right? You can't do anything with it. Right? We want to regenerate, rejuvenate as part of our natural state.
Clarify that, because physically that doesn't make sense to me. So you had your meniscus removed and bone on bone, you
Yes.
don't feel pain.
Since 1960, I have no pain.
Physically, that doesn't make sense because there's no padding on the bone scrapes against bone.
I understand it doesn't make sense, but when you start rejuvenating, regenerating, it makes a difference. Okay, and these are the modalities I work. And so what I'd like to do is demonstrate this a little further on someone. Do we have some brave soul with pain that would let me work on them? Okay, come up. You what? What'd you say?
My emergency next of kin card just in case.
Oh. Okay. Okay, what pain do you have?
Right shoulder,
Right shoulder. How long have you had this?
since 14, freshman year high school football.
Okay, how tall are you?
5'9" and 3/4.
And let's see what your range of motion is with your right shoulder. Is that as high as you can take it? Okay, go forward. Is that it? Oh, okay. Do you have any pain there?
Always discomfort.
Discomfort. Okay, on a scale of 10, how much discomfort?
3, but if I sleep on it, it wakes me up in the middle of the night.
Okay, do you have any other pain in place else?
My mother-in-law, but I don't think we have enough time for that. We're here all week. Try the fish.
Okay, let me check. Your mother-in-law. Give me some energy here. Okay, we want to get you neutral
Okay.
to everything your mother-in-law says, thinks, or does. No, definitely not that neutral. We're going to clear a few hundred quadrillion layers of belief, experience, negative anticipation, all that stuff. I'm going to get you neutral to everything your mother-in-law says, thinks, or does. By the way, anything that bothers us, our energy goes weak to. Everything that bothers us, our energy goes weak to. So to get to neutral, you have to go to your worst scenario. Because if you don't, there's something out there still bothering you, and you'll still react. Okay? You have to go to your best scenario. Because we set up expectations, and when they're not met, we react. Okay? So we're starting with getting neutral to everything she says, thinks, or does, and neutral to everything she doesn't say, think, or do. Not neutral there, another few hundred quadrillion layers. Neutral to everything she says, thinks, or does. Neutral to everything she doesn't say, think, or do. We're going to check for a positive energy flow from you to her and from her to you. Oh, it's positive from you to her, but not from her to you. Okay.
Open your mouth, be neutral to the experience.
So we're going to strengthen her to send a positive energy flow to you. Let's do it again. Positive energy flow from you. Actually, you don't know quite what to do with it if she did. It would kind of bother you. So let's get you neutral to her always being very positive, far meeting your expectation, and neutral to her always completely missing on your expectations. Another few hundred quadrillion layers. And so in that relationship, we're going to check the internal and external dynamics, internal and external boundaries, and they're all weak. So with you and your mother-in-law, we're going to clear all the internal and external boundaries, all the internal and external dynamics, all the interaction between them, all to your 100% positive infinity. And I want a note from you about what's going on with your mother-in-law.
She took the clicker.
Threaten the manhood. Okay, how much discomfort in the shoulder?
I think I can do push-ups now.
Funny thing.
I'm not. What? No.
We were at discomfort for a scale of 3.
Yes.
Where is it now?
It's not apparent.
Not apparent.
Yeah.
Now, how could this be? Wait a minute, don't go away yet. Yeah.
Essentially, what you told to do is to eliminate both scenarios. It's the scenarios up and down that are unscenarioize yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good one. It's the scenarios that we have a charge on that causes us to react.
You get a bad inner dialogue.
Exactly. Now, wait a minute, on your shoulder. There's something about not putting your shoulder to the wheel, not going forward with the best way you could. Who used to judge you about that? You're not putting your full effort in.
My wife.
Give me some energy, yarn. Okay. Let's get you neutral to everything your wife doesn't say, think, or do, and everything your wife says, thinks, or does. Let's get you neutral to never getting acceptance from your wife ever again in your wildest dreams. This is a few hundred quadrillion, billion, quadrillion layers that we're dealing with here. Okay, we're going to clear that all away. Neutral to your wife never approving of anything you do. Neutral to your wife totally loving everything you do, another few hundred. Wife loving give me some energy. Life totally loving everything you do.
That'd be cool.
You might, you might even get lucky tonight.
She's in New Hampshire. However, I'm staying at.
Nevertheless. Okay. Okay, check the shoulder again. Looks good to me. Let's check your energy and see what you're saying about discomfort. You're not weak to discomfort anymore. So we're going to boost the strength, the stamina, flexibility, mobility, agility of both your shoulders, actually every joint in your body, to 100%, and your positive infinity and beyond. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where do I make the check out to?
Okay, who else had pain? All right, come up. Oh, wait, a woman first. We'll go male, female. Okay. Hello.
Hello,
I'm LeRoy.
I'm Maria Alice from Brazil.
Ah, I love you already.
Brazilians.
I'm sorry, honey. What pain do you have?
I have here on the left side.
Left side. Oh, shoulder blade and neck. Uh-huh.
I don't know how to say in English this.
On a scale of 10, how much pain?
Oh, 8,
8. How long have you had this?
maybe 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, it comes up and down.
Comes up and down. Okay, let me check something here. Give me a little energy in your arm. That feels like you've been losing your sense of joy and happiness for about 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 years.
Wow.
Is that right?
I'm recovering that.
You're recovering. You're recovering from that.
I'm recovering from
You're recovering. Okay, understand. What happens when we lose our sense of joy and happiness? And by this is pretty typical of us, by the way. But what happens when we lose our sense of joy and happiness?
low energy.
Low energy. What else?
Depression.
Depression. What else?
Pain.
Pain. And we know joy and happiness keeps our immune system strong, right? Keeps us well. How much pain right now?
Maybe 5, yeah.
5, yeah. Okay. What happened back then was too much to bear.
I think too much work, too much stress.
Yeah, too much stress, too much strife.
Over-stressing myself.
Yeah. So what's the worst thing that can happen if you keep overstressing yourself?
Then you're broke.
You're broke. What's worse than that? You stay broke. Let's do Groundhog Day. Every time you come back, it's more broke. Okay, let's see if you're neutral to that. I don't think so. Okay, a few hundred quadrillion layers. Let's get neutral to broke forever. Another few hundred quadrillion. Get neutral to being broke forever. What's the best scenario?
Oh, just being well again.
Yeah,
Everything's just done.
everything's fine. Oh, works with ease and synchronicity, not neutral there. Another few hundred quadrillion layers. Let's check that. Cool. Okay, how much pain now? Huh?
3.
3?
A little bit.
Little bit. Oh, with a little bit. With a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Okay. A lot of times when we have something like this, there is something else going in the body as well. We refer pain from one place to the body and the other. Is it all right if I touch you a little more?
No, we are Brazilians, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm just going to show you a pattern of pain. Actually, turn around here, if you don't mind, please. Okay, so this pain right here, there's a place right here that's resonating with that. Okay? And then another place kind of right here, and another one right there, and then under this foot, kind of under the pad. We're just going to clear that all away. Okay, turn around. How much pain now?
And now I'm breathing.
And now you're breathing. Notice how something that we've had for a long time, the root, see, a symptom like this has roots like a 100-year-old tree, right? Sometimes clients come with a tree, and sometimes it's a forest, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit more to clear it away. And I'm just going to check, see what percent of the roots we've gotten now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. We've got about 70% of the roots. Feel better?
Much better.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, one more. Isn't this crazy? Why would I ask someone to come up here with a symptom that they've had for a long time and say why would I say we can do anything about it? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Well, this is the kind of crazy we want to be. We want to be more mindful of what's going on with us. Starting with, again, us being strong every day. And when you do that, you get more aware of the little ways each day that your energy goes weak. We need to be very mindful of what we're doing to cause our energy to go weak and what causes it to go strong so that we can consistently be getting more strong every day. What pain?
My lower back.
Lower back. How much?
A scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
3 or 4?
How long have you had this?
5 years.
5 years? When you say lower back, show me. Okay. Let's check something. What happened 5 years ago to break your back?
Started working out a lot and started working in startups.
It only hurts when I laugh. Okay, let's see. Pain. You said it was a 3 or 4? Mm-hmm. How much is it now?
2.
Yeah, 2. Let's get you neutral. What's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen with these startups?
They fail.
And what's worse than that?
They fail again.
Yeah. And what else fails?
Me.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, and what happens if you
I
fail?
didn't even think of that. Really an option?
And what's the worst thing that can happen if you fail?
If I fail,
Mm-hmm.
then I let everybody down.
Yeah. And what's the worst thing if you let everybody down?
Then I let my family down.
And what's worse than that?
There's not really anything worse than that.
Yeah, there is. Okay, let's check. Yeah, you're homeless. You have to take it. Let's see, so you're living under an underpass with your family, you have a good model grocery cart, and someone steals your grocery cart. And it was the latest grocery model. Well, okay, let's clear a few hundred quadrillion layers there. How much pain in your back now?
I'm totally distracted from my back. I'm living under a bridge. I don't even think about that.
Okay, what's the best scenario?
Everything blows up in a great way.
Yeah, abundance,
Yes,
synchronicity,
absolutely.
ease,
Yes.
not neutral. Okay, another few hundred quadrillion layers, get you neutral to everything. Prospers beautifully, abundantly, with ease and synchronicity. Okay, check the pain in your back now.
Again, I'm
Okay,
elsewhere. I don't feel that.
you don't feel it. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're going to clear that all down. You're 0 minus infinity and beyond. Now, there's something else you need to do. Come over here, please. And let me see you walk over there. Uh-huh. Okay, when we've had something like this going on, stay back there a minute, please. When we've had something like this going on for a while, you see, we start moving in ways not to have the pain. Okay? Right? If I've got a hurt and our muscle sheath has a memory, and it locks into the position we've been using to not have pain. So when we go to walk or act in a normal way, it resists. Now, we're going to retrain your muscle sheath. And here's what I want you to do. Watch me first.
Okay.
It's called an exaggerated walk. Okay, so you're going to walk slow, keep your balance, right? Put your arms straight up, your knees as high as you can, opposites. Okay, here we go. That's it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right, now turn around and walk normally again. Everybody notice the difference?
We could hear his back cracking.
What did that feel like to you?
It did feel different.
Yeah, you were much smoother then. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's see what percent of the roots we cleared. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 2, 3, 73%. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's get this. Okay, questions? Yes.
When you evaluate these levels of strength as a percentage, how do you mentally calculate that?
Okay, so when the question is, when you say what percentages is, how do you mentally calculate it? Okay, this is a really good question. I call it additional sensory perception. Okay? You know how when someone walks in a room and they're preoccupied, or they're extra happy, or they're extra sad? What do we say? We say, hey, what's going on? Right? So what I'm talking about now, it's a skill. What I'm talking about is we keep increasing the skill. Right? So it's just being more in tune. Now, I actually went to one modality where we actually stood, we would be opposite each other, and we'd just focus on where's this person energy, where's their weakness, where's their strength. I used to think, why are we doing this so much? Actually, it's really good because it helps you understand your weakness, and when you make yourself weak and strong as well. So it's a skill. That's what we keep doing. Now, I also teach people how to do this, right? These are participant materials. We had a webinar. I've got a 4-session webinar. I taught the first 2 sessions last weekend, and then the next 2 are next weekend. I got an email from one of the participants, a really hard-nosed guy, a lot of problems, has tried numerous things. He said, the way I teach is I explain something and then demonstrate it, and then you do it. So we did it those 2 days. I put pairs together to do the work with each other. And I told them, the very first time you start working with each other, you're going to clear symptoms, right? So I get an email from this hard-nosed guy just a couple of days ago. He said, I just had a session with my pair partner. He said, I have a high tolerance for not having any BS in my life. He said, it was a fantastic session and my symptoms are going away. And this is stuff he's been living with for years. So it is far simpler than we think it is. For example, again, just what I talked about aging. This sea of human consciousness that we're swimming in, we buy into more stuff that's not true than you can believe. Okay, let me give you another example. There was a doctor on the Discovery Channel. He said, we had this patient come in with esophageal cancer. He said, everybody in the medical profession knows that nobody survives esophageal cancer. Said, we told him, offered him a treatment. He took the treatment. A few weeks later, he died. We did an autopsy. No esophageal cancer. The treatment worked. No cancer in his body anywhere that would explain his death. He said he died of esophageal cancer, but not from esophageal cancer. And then he said, I wonder how often we medical people, parents, teachers, take the power away from people, right? So these beliefs, the number of beliefs we have around what you should or shouldn't do, must or mustn't do, can or can't do, is absolutely staggering. And when we do things that we're not supposed to do or don't do what we're not supposed, guess what? We start judging ourselves. We don't accept ourselves. I challenge myself, by the way, there has been a change since 2012. I believe all of us are being invited now to come to another level of consciousness and functioning. There's wonderful things happening in around consciousness and mindfulness that I sense in this universe, and some colleagues do too. So things are shifting, and I'm finding clients who are so completely locked into their symptoms. But you see, I believe what happens is our symptoms are our friends. They are going to keep saying, hey, you haven't cleared it yet. And you know what they do if we don't? What happens? The symptoms get worse. We raise the volume. A year ago, I raised the volume on myself for 5 months, right? Until I finally got it. I'm a tough case. And what I realized is that our biggest symptom is lack of self-acceptance. Very biggest. Because every single way we're not accepting ourselves exactly the way we are right now means our energy's going weak. In fact, I made a whole chapter in my book about it, chapter 19. And so we've never been taught to deal with this kind of mindfulness in ourselves. One of my consulting clients years ago, big office building, right? I walked in, long rows of gray office partitions. And on one of these partitions was a sign. And it said, all of life is a game, because if it was real, we would have had much better instructions. And then I realized that it took me basically 60 years to get to the point where I could get on that curve and keep going up. And I said, you know what? I don't want it to take anybody else 60 years. About 5-6 years ago, I started carrying a video camera just to do little things like we were doing here. And I've got 16 of them on YouTube now. It absolutely amazes me at people I hear from around the world. In fact, some people are saying, I was watching this YouTube thing, 10 minutes. I said, all of a sudden, I started feeling better. I'm thinking, wow, this internet, there's something to this internet. Quick as a wink, I knew. Right? And I said, well, how do I reach more people? I want, I love the purpose for a Sloan School. Right? There's mindfulness built into that purpose. And my purpose is to bring mindfulness to the world, to this universe that we're in. And so I want to do it in any and every way possible, including, if a book works, fine. And, if it's more videos, then fine. If it takes it teaching people, this is something that we can do. I mean, kids can learn this. 2 examples. I had a workshop, a live workshop in New York City. This lady brought her 10-year-old son. He got it faster than anybody else. He was going click, 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 click. People's symptoms were going away. I had a lady come with a 5-year-old, and she said she's been getting afraid these last 6 months. So I started teaching the little girl neutral, right? And the mother said, oh, well, you do this and this to go neutral? And the little girl said, no, Ma, you do it this way. She started teaching her mother. I'm going, it's like amazing. Yeah.
Can you talk more about that
getting to neutral, because I guess the only modalities that I've experimented with are Zen meditation or something like that. I think they have a practice that you follow to try to get to something like neutral.
Yeah, and it works, by the way. Back many years ago when all the different meditation techniques were out, a guy wrote a book where he looked at the pattern of meditation. He's at Harvard now. I'm forgetting his name. And he said, if you follow this process, in other words, he said you do step by step by step by looking at different forms. He said, if you follow this, in 4 to 6 weeks, you'll find a physiological change. And I did, and I did. It actually works that way. So that's a nice thing to do it. But when I first heard of neutral, I kind of had my misunderstanding of a Buddhist definition, which says you go out 17 years in the wilderness and get detached from everything. I said, well, this isn't going to work for me. I love her, I support her, you know, and I'm definitely attached. Now, there's many times in our marriage I didn't think we were going to make it. We're in the best place we've ever been, right? And it's primarily because she's got a lot of unconditional love. You need that if you live with me. And I learned to go neutral. Right? I want just like we were doing here. I'm going to go neutral to everything she says, thinks, or does, and everything she doesn't say, think, or do. Now, why would I say that?
So you can be in the moment reacting to what's actually happening instead of triggering yourself into some other vector up or down that distorts the
So you
situation
can-
and causes a...
Yeah, so you can be in the moment and not react. And some days it's not an issue. Other days I'm going neutral all day long. Not because of her. Not because of her, but because of my possible reaction. You know, one time, one other quick story. We have this small farm, and we've got electric fence. And a few years ago, there was a bad, bad snowstorm. And it was a Sunday, and we said, we better go check the fence line. You know, we've got an electric car. I got my chainsaw. And so, but in that day, for some reason, I don't remember what it was, I got really angry at her. And so, anyway, we were out doing this together. And here's this big branch. We're taking it off the fence line. In the process, I stubbed my toe so bad I can hardly walk, right? And I started laughing. I said, well, I stubbed my toe this morning emotionally. Now I stubbed it physically. Oh, well, so what, right? So we finished it. And I said, oh, my God, you know, I'm saying, I got this plane on Tuesday morning, and I'm barely able to walk again. I said, okay, time to go to clearing. Well, I got to the airport, and I was still a little bit limping, and I made one concession. I said, I'm going to make one concession. I asked them to take me to the gate in a wheelchair. That's the last time I limped. So, first of all, we say get neutral, and if you don't, clear it in 3 seconds. It took me an hour and a half that day. Not because of her, because of me and my reactions. So, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Morning exercise that you said, the morning exercise that you mentioned to
Yeah.
what other things have you do?
Okay, what's the morning exercise that I do? First thing I do is I check to see if I'm energetically strong, if I'm at 100% or more. And is my is my polarity straight? Now, again, there's more detail about that, but that's what chapter 13 of this book is about. I say that, of course, because I want you to buy them. And they're $19.95. Today we're having a sale. They're on sale for $20 because I don't have any nickels. And if you're from Massachusetts, we add tax of $1.25, something like that. But I explain neutral in more detail there. I explain how to get yourself strong every day. And what's behind a lot of this work. Yes?
Would it be a fair summary to say that this is about becoming very, very good about checking your state of mind and trying not to over-contextualize everything that happens to you, because then you can't react frontally to each event as it comes along. You've created a context around it. You over-interpret.
Yeah,
State of
so-
mind is the whole thing.
So you're saying, isn't this really about being more mindful of your own state of mind? Yes, it is. And it's about having your energy strong every day, and it's about being neutral, and it's about learning how to clear root causes so that you get on this upward trend and you stay on it. So let me just summarize. Okay, the really good news is that there are actually numerous modalities and products out there. By the way, I don't take any vitamins. I don't take any herbs. I don't take any meds. The only thing I take regularly is called max ATP. 3 generations of research found a catalyst to get every cell to function better and produce more energy. Not like an energy drink that goes like that, but it goes like this. I believe in doing stuff that really is natural for us. But there's all the modalities, all the traditional, all the alternative. They work, and they work for numerous people, which is great, because nothing seems to work for everybody. There's a lot of options, and if you look through time, there's many options when we get more mindful of what's going on with us. And one way that we're doing things is to take like a specific part of us and improving it. There's effective ways to fuse vertebrae. By the way, when people are doing a medical, a traditional or alternative modality, and they ask me to work with it, I support them so that will work better, right? I want to support everything working better for a person. And if it's a lot of meds or chemo or something to strengthen their body so that that med will do its job and quickly get out of their body. So a lot of times toxicities build up from these things. We can help the body eliminate the toxicities. We've got 2 or 3 different ways of doing that. So we want everything to work for every one of us. Okay, we can focus on a symptom, and there's a lot of modalities that do that. We can undercover work with aspects of living. There's a lot of ways of doing that. And another way is what I believe in, which is approach the whole person and clear it away. And so the characteristics of products that has evolved and become revolutionary is that they are simpler, lighter, easier to use, and cost less. There are many alternative modalities that do this, and they get results with little effort. Now, there is a lot more information in the handout you have, and there's been a lot of good research on alternative modalities, and I have reviewed 2 of those because I thought some of you might be interested in seeing some of the research and methodology. And so you'll find those if you choose to go a little further looking at that. And they work, and so thank you very much for being here. One more thing. There's a page there called Contact Information. If you would like to be on our email list, or if you have questions that you'd like answered, fill this out and give it to us. You also have a card and a brochure that describes what we've been doing. And my wife and I will be here if anyone wants to buy a book. And again, thank you very much for coming. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.